In this video, we're going to solve some equations with substitution and elimination. So let's get right into it. Let's start simple here. See if you can solve this equation using substitution. Give it a go, and then let's do it together. The first step is to solve for a variable. Now notice the second equation only has one variable, so let's go ahead and solve for a. To isolate, we divide both sides by 3, which gives us a equals 3. Nice. Now we know a. To solve for b, we can substitute in the value for a in our first equation, a equals 3. So we get 6 plus b equals 10. Subtract 6 from both sides, and we find that b equals 4. Awesome. To check our work, we can plug in the values of our variables into the original equations, and everything looks good. We solved for a and b. Great work. On to our next example. Now, we can use substitution to solve this equation. But is there a way to solve this using elimination? Take a minute to think about this. Alright, now just looking at our equations as they are, we notice that none of the variables can cancel out if we add them right away. However, what if we manipulated one of these equations so that they could cancel out? What do I mean? Well, let's take a look at our second equation. We have a negative 3b here. What do we need to do to cancel this out? We need to add 3b. So now, switching to our first equation, is there anything we could do to get a 3b? We can multiply everything by 3. We get 12a plus 3b equals 30. Now, this equation is completely the same. All we did is multiply everything by 3, but now we have a 3b. And you might see where this is going. We have 3b in our first equation and negative 3b in our second equation. So if we combine these two equations together now, we can cancel out the b. Now we get 17a equals 36. And to isolate a, we divide both sides by 17, which leaves us with 36 over 17. So now we know a. Now to solve for b, we just put in the value for a in one of our equations. In our first equation, if we substitute in the a, we get 4 times 36 over 17. 4 times 36 is 144, so we have 144 over 17 plus b equals 10. Now we just subtract 144 over 17 from both sides. To get a common denominator, we can multiply 10 by 17 over 17. This is 170 over 17, and then minus 144 over 17 is 26 over 17. So b is 26 over 17. To check, we can plug these values back into the original equations, and they work. This one was a bit of work since we were dealing with fractions, but it worked out nicely. If we use a bit of manipulation, we are able to use elimination to solve our variables. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Alright, let's try one last example. In this example, solve using substitution. Take a go at it on your own, and then check back for the answer. So if we look at our first equation, we see that a is basically already solved for us. All we need to do to isolate a is divide both sides by 3. And we see that a equals negative 2b plus 3. Now, we just substitute a into the second equation. To simplify a bit here, we can distribute the 4, and now we can combine the negative 8b and the b to get negative 7b. And to isolate b, we subtract 12 from both sides, which gives us negative 7b equals negative 2. And our last step to isolate b is divide both sides by negative 7, which leaves us with 2 over 7. Alright, now to solve for a. We found earlier that a equals negative 2b plus 3, and we can substitute in our value for b here. This gives us negative 2 times 2 over 7 plus 3. Negative 2 times 2 over 7 is negative 4 over 7, and to add this to 3, we can multiply 3 by 7 over 7 to get a common denominator, and we see that this equals 17 over 7. And to check our work, we can make sure that our values are correct by putting them back into the original equations, and we see that we are correct. A is 17 over 7 and b is 2 over 7. Nice work. Again, we were dealing with fractions here, but you did fantastic, I'm sure. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, like and subscribe. If you have any problems you want us to solve, send them down in the comments. We'd love to help out. And that's it for now. Well, keep working hard and keep learning. Thank you for watching.